How will the three clubs relegated from the Premier League cope with the inevitable churn of the transfer window immediately after dropping down into the Championship? I have just recorded an hour-long transfer update special, but here is a clip looking at Leicester, Ipswich and Southampton. And the general rule of thumb with the year one parachute teams is, can you manage what is often a very churny first summer after Premier League relegation? You're probably going to have to sell a couple of big ticket assets. And then can you then trade sensibly enough so you're not completely resetting and you can still use the power of the squad that you had in the Premier League, in theory, plus the power of the parachute money that you're going to get, which is obviously highest in the first season. So it is a massive advantage, obviously, we say each and every year, but it does have to be managed cleverly by these clubs. You can't just accept every offer and bank all your cash and completely start over. It needs to be a bit more sensible than that. Let's start with Leicester, where I assume if I scroll down here, absolutely nothing is going to have happened. They've just got a few loan players returning. Although I suppose Chowdhury and Suter are two of them, and you can build a Championship 11 with those two in, can't you? But obviously the big news in terms of Leicester is EFL stuff and points deductions and sanctions and whatnot. And it feels like we're kind of doing a lot of waiting when it comes to Leicester in terms of maybe a possible sanction being given. We don't entirely know what's happening with the management there. I can see one big out there, Jamie Vardy. I mean, that's obviously the end of an era, but moving on into next season, I suspect it might be quiet at Leicester for a little while until we know exactly what's happening, what the lay of the land is going to be next season in terms of possible sanctions management. And then I'd imagine it'll be that normal case of you lose a couple and you try and ride out your squad and build it as best you can. Ipswich Town, well, we have had one of the big ticket outs, and I mentioned at the top of the video it was open and it was closed and it was open again. And that first opening of the transfer window saw Liam Delap go to Chelsea, didn't it? The fabled release clause that everybody knew about was met, and Delap's obviously already playing for Chelsea in that tournament over in the United States that I have not watched 1 second of, so I can't tell you anything more than that. So Delap's gone, Harness has gone on a free, Burgess has gone on a free, Luongo out as well, has been released. So a big sense at Ipswich that the glory 2 years under Kieran McKenna and that amazing group of players that took Ipswich from 11th in League One, bang, 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 into the Premier League. It's a bit of a reset. One thing Ipswich did do well last season was traded in such a way that they come down with, and look, some of these may be sold, one or two at least, given my thoughts on parachute teams, but with the arrivals of Dara Roche, Jacob Greaves, maybe Ben Johnson, Connor Townsend, central midfield needs looking at, obviously. And then the likes of Philogene and Clark have been stars at Championship level as well. So has Smodics. Liam Delap needs replacing. Good luck with that at Championship level, but you do your best, don't you, in the central midfield. So I would expect Ipswich will get busy and may well even be able to spend before they sell. But you might expect Alif Davis, Adara Roche, Amari Hutchinson, dare I say, could be on the way out. Southampton, feels a little bit like with the yo-yo at Southampton, that the big asset base that was cashed in on, who was it? Livramento, Ward-Prowse, Lavia, was it? They sold massive amounts of, well, it just named 3 players, but massive amounts of money came in last time. Doesn't feel like there's a massive, potential to shift out players because obviously they did it 2 years ago. Samuel Amiu has gone apparently out to Strasbourg, says Transfer Mark, which is Liam Rossini's club. Championship check-in a couple of years ago, Sam Parkin saw his debut and really liked him down at Plymouth. So it's a young player gone. We've got one in, Joshua Kwasi, 20-year-old centre-back from Hoffenheim for €3.5 million, it says. So I'd assume he's coming to play in the Championship. I know they've just come from the Premier League, but if you can drop a few £1 million on a centre-back, most of the league can't. We know the lay of the land here. Not entirely sure what we'll see from Southampton then, because I don't think, as I say, there's going to be massive outs. I assume there'll be one or two, but I'm not expecting huge money coming in. But are the books all right? Maybe Saints fans can let me know down there in the comments in terms of what PSR positions. I wouldn't assume it's terrible. Is it, in terms of Southampton? I'd assume that was all wiped clean with those names I mentioned there. So maybe we'll be allowed to build a squad there. So I'd be reasonably optimistic if I was a Saints fan. That might be the most stable there of the three, in terms of Ipswich might bring more people in, but again, that's churn and those players need to be dropped in. And Leicester does feel the most chaotic of the three. So, let me know your thoughts on each of the year one parachute teams.